Hello and welcome back to Where's the Bandwagon? My name is Will, and Aliens of London is the 700th episode of Doctor Who and introduces some key characters and elements that will continue to show up in Doctor Who over the next 2 decades. This episode features the first scene filmed by Christopher Eccleston when he was cast as the Doctor, and the element that inspired Russel T Davies to create the Bad Wolf arc. So we've done an in-depth rewatch and breakdown of the episode while reading through the endless sites of trivia, production notes and plot hole fixes from the internet as we bring you a breakdown of every Doctor Who episode in the revived series. This episode aired on the 16th of April 2005. This day marked the day that David Tennant was revealed to have been cast as the 10th Doctor and to be the actor who would be leading the show into its second series. Eccleston's departure from the role as the Time Lord had been announced prior to the second episode in this series, The End of the World. This episode opens with a montage of the city and a recap of the first episode in the series. This recaps some of the events for the audience. The production team showed a similar recap at the start of The End of the World. However, this time the recap focuses heavily on Jackie and Mickey to remind the viewer of who they are and their characters. Their characters make up an important element of this episode, so reminding the audience of who they are enables us to understand who Rose left behind. The TARDIS lands in the courtyard of the Powell estate. The production team were very committed to making the TARDIS's landings very detailed.
However, it became apparent that the TARDIS appearing and disappearing in each episode might require its own effect to sit it in whatever scene or time and place it was going to be arriving in. So if it's got snow, like in episode 3, there's a lovely little layer of snow on the windowsill that when it disappears, the little flakes just fall to the earth. If it lands, amongst a sea of litter on a council estate and things are blown around a bit, it's an extra layer of adding believability to what's going on. So it's just subtly different every time.
Later in the episode, the TARDIS will be spray painted with the famous Bad Wolf words. I can't see the word Bad Wolf in any of the other graffiti in this scene, but comment down below if you've spotted anything that I haven't. Russel T Davies was keen to add realistic and gritty touches to his depiction of life on the Powell estate. This in turn resulted in his script including a boy graffitiing the words Bad Dog on the TARDIS. This was later amended to the words Bad Wolf. According to Russel T Davies, the decision to establish the Bad Wolf meme in this series did not occur until after the spur-of-the-moment decision to have the words Bad Wolf graffiti painted on the TARDIS. In the book The Shooting Scripts, Russel T Davies goes into this point further. Episode 4 saw the words Bad Wolf appear for the first time. I just made it up on a whim because I liked the idea of the TARDIS being graffitied. But then I spent the rest of the episode idly wondering who that kid was, why he wrote those odd words, and having dismissed notions of an evil supervillain kid, a plan began to form in mid-production. Knowing that Rose would become the time goddess at the end of the series, I wondered if a goddess would imprint herself on the universe, creating things in her image, like the face of Jesus in a bagel. Better still, these signs would actually summon her into existence. That's the sort of stuff you think about in this job, late at night. And then I worked backwards, inserting Bad Wolf references into almost every script. Funnily enough, I never told anyone what I was doing in case it didn't work, but the design department picked up on it. They didn't even ask what it meant, they just offered to stencil it on Captain Jack's bomb, in German. The idea spread without anyone knowing what it meant, which is very Bad Wolf in itself. Subsequently, the words Bad Wolf would appear in many other episodes, leading up to the finale. Comment down in the comment section your favourite Bad Wolf reference and event leading up to that Season 1 finale. I'm sure as my breakdowns continue, I'll help you find other instances of Bad Wolf that you might have missed, no matter how many times you've watched each episode. The Doctor and Rose exit the TARDIS with the Doctor looking smug. He's still loving the idea of introducing his new companion to wonderful elements in his life. In this case, he's enjoying Rose understand that they can go and see all those crazy things, but then can come back like nothing's happened and with absolutely no consequences.
Move it. Stitch this, mate.
Originally, in early versions of the script, the TARDIS did bring Rose back home just minutes after their departure, with the episode going to focus on Rose's astonishment that they had had 2 full adventures, but that they'd only been gone a few minutes on Earth. Rose recalls going to the year 5 billion, of course referencing the adventure in The End of the World 2 episodes earlier, and then heads off to go and see her mum, Jackie. Rose calls out to the doctor that she will just tell her mum that she spent the night at Cherie's.
What are you going to tell her?
I don't know. I've been to the year 5 billion, and then you've been gone, what, 12 hours? No, I just tell her I spent the night at Shireen's. See you later. I'm back. Shireen, she's all upset again. You in?
Now this has always confused me. You see, the last time Jackie heard from Rose, assuming that they hadn't been gone 12 months, that they'd only been gone a day, it was the night of the Autumn invasion, so aka 24 hours earlier in their mind. It wasn't just some random day. Jackie's probably thinking that Rose had been killed in the attack, so why was she just going to say that she popped round to Cherie's? As Rose walks off, she says,
Oh, don't you disappear.
This lets the viewer know that she's only interested in stopping by to say hello to her family, and she's not abandoning the Doctor or wanting to quit travelling. In a later season, the Doctor will get this spectacularly wrong when he misunderstands Donna's request to go home.
I've been thinking... Sorry. I'm going home.
You're just popping home for a visit, that's what you mean?
You dumbo.
And then you're coming back.
Later in the episode, Rose again chases the Doctor and makes him promise that he won't disappear.
Promise you won't disappear?
This suggests that Rose is already hooked on being with the Doctor and really knows she wants to travel with him. She knows it's such a good thing and is already hooked. Her being hooked on the Doctor will develop across the next 2 series until it gets to a point where she knows that she's going to have to give up everything in order to continue to travel with the Doctor, including leaving her family.
Because there's nothing left for me here.
Nothing?
No.
Well, are you going to stay with me?
Forever.
Rose asking the Doctor to promise not to disappear twice could be introduced to show that Rose has maybe slight abandonment issues. This could be a character trait introduced by Russel T Davies as a result of what happened to her father. Rose is desperate for the Doctor not to leave, which maybe makes the viewer think that her father left home, as at this point in the series we don't know that he isn't in her life because he was killed. Throughout the episode, it's clear that the impacts of her travelling really do have big negative consequences for her family, and she does develop a little doubt as to whether she wants to continue to travel with the Doctor.
Well, if it's this much trouble, are you going to stay here now?
I don't know.
This will be explored further throughout Russel T Davies' run as showrunner. The director then pans over to the poster hanging on the post. The music drops from a light-hearted beat to one that lets the viewer know that something's wrong. I've always wondered about the photo used on the poster. Was it meant to be obvious that it's Rose? The photo used here and the quality of the camera, in my opinion, makes it really hard to tell that that's Rose. She even looks a bit brunette in the photo. I suspect that's just me not being able to see it. This photo was actually an earlier photo of Billie Piper rather than the character of Rose. This same photo can be seen hung up on Jackie's wall in her apartment. Looking through the shooting scripts book, it's clear that the original intention was for the audience to not know that it was Rose on the poster. The poster was originally meant to be facing away from the audience in the camera shot. Therefore, the reveal that these missing posters are for Rose is meant to be kept until Rose sees the posters scattered about in her mum's apartment.
Sorry.
The poster we see on the wall is the first reference to the name of the Powell estate, the estate that Rose, Jackie and Mickey live in. Rose will go on to be knighted by Queen Victoria as Dame Rose of the Powell estate in the 2nd series episode Tooth and Claw. In the comic Revolving Doors, the 10th Doctor will visit the Powell estate shortly before its opening, and the 10th Doctor will again visit the estate on the 1st of January 2005 as he goes to see Rose one more time before his regeneration. In the episode Utopia, Captain Jack Harkness, upon catching up with the Doctor, explains that he visited the Powell estate to watch Rose growing up.
I went back to her estate in the 90s. Just once or twice. Watched her growing up.
He stayed away from approaching her, however, to not mess with any of the timelines. Furthermore, in the short story The Red Bicycle, the 9th Doctor visits the Powell estate after buying Rose that red bicycle, continuing the continuity brought up in a joke made in the Season 1 episode Father's Day.
All in all things considered, fantastic.
Look at you beaming away like your Father Christmas.
Who says I'm not Red Bicycle when you were 12?
What?
Now, from a continuity perspective, the location of the Powell estate has always been a bit off. In the Doctor Who universe, the estate has been described as being in different locations of London, depending on what piece of media you read. The poster explains that Rose went missing on the 6th of March 2005. Indeed, that's the day after the pilot episode aired and the attack by the Ortons. Again, I do find it odd that presumably many people disappeared or were killed that night, so why is it only Rose's poster up? I suspect this is just an oversight of the production and the writing. We cut to Jackie Tyler, played by Camille Cauldry, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, who is doing such an incredible job as acting as Jackie in this episode. Rose comes into the apartment and Jackie here just shows full shock, with a face of someone who's almost thinking that they're hallucinating or dreaming by seeing Rose, and is just broken by it. Mugs smashing on the floor is giving me crazy vibes of last night's Doctor Who episode, The Reality War. I hope you've all seen the episode. Comment down below your thoughts on that crazy ending. Comment your thoughts on Russel T Davies' second role as showrunner, and Ncuti Gatwa's role as the Doctor. Thank you for watching Where's the Bandwagon. Next episode will be up shortly, where we'll be going in depth into some of the great elements of this episode. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss when it's uploaded. Make sure to like the video and comment down below your favourite moments from the episode and from last night's Ncuti Gatwa episode, The Reality War. See you next time.